What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So this is where we're at now. They did pass the bill, seems like, and this is the thing here. Of course, everything that Trump was wanting was not on the bill and things like that. But we're here now, and this is the thing here. They've tried to they got it in to kind of limp this situation along. And this is the sad part about it. It's like, why we just keep limping along? Why not just go ahead on and cut the fat and see if we can just actually get things together how it's supposed to be? If we could get the budget right how it's supposed to be. But, that's neither here nor there. So we're going to go here now, and we're going to see what Nancy Macy has to say. And I also have the Black conservative perspective in the broadcast room as well. It's among other things. Let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Okay, so we printed off the CR that dropped last night and the last CR that Congress did. And wouldn't you know, the CR that was done in September went from September 26th to December 20th, 85 days for this CR. It's 21 pages. Now we have the next CR that we're going to be voting on in the next day or two. It is 1,547 pages. And wouldn't you know, it lasts for a shorter period of time, 84 days instead of 85 days. I'm not a mathematician, but this does not add up. So we're going through the bill. The first 14 pages currently are just a table of contents. Page 15 is where technically the CR portion of the bill is. It's 9 pages long. And then everything after the 9 pages for the CR is just noise and has nothing to do with keeping the government open. So for example, there are 500 plus pages related to healthcare policy, which doesn't have anything to do with keeping the government open. There's $100 billion of disaster relief in here, which is desperately needed, by the way, but should be its own standalone bill. But this is what Congress does to hold members hostage who need disaster relief for their districts, their states after the hurricanes. It's wrong to hold people hostage over something that's desperately needed, and we have funding for it for all this other junk that's in here. And so we're going through the bill. We will detail it for you. So follow us and online and pay attention. We'll be posting information throughout the day about this massive bill wasting your tax dollars.
Okay, so this is where we're at now. They tried to add on a lot of other things inside that situation to halt the bill situation. Okay, so we're going to go here now. We're going to see what the Speaker of the House had to say and things like that. Here we go.
Priority for us. This is America First legislation because it allows us to be set up to deliver for the American people. In January, we will make a sea change in Washington. President Trump will return to D.C. and to the White House, and we will have Republican control of the Senate and the House. Things are going to be very different around here. This was a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingerprints on the final decisions on spending for 2025. We also, in this bill, as you know, took care of Americans who desperately needed and deserved the assistance. We had a record hurricane season. Hurricanes Helene and Milton in particular did dramatic damage across at least 6 states. The Carolinas, the Virginia, from Florida, Tennessee, all the way through. And they have been waiting for the federal government to assist. We did that tonight in this bill.
Okay, so they did get the assistance for the victims of the hurricanes and stuff like that in there. I could definitely dig that part. You know what I'm saying? They definitely needed that. FEMA did not come through, as we all know. It was a whole shit show when that went down, and both those hurricanes went down back to back. That was terrible. Those people were fed up out there and still fed up. It's a lot of cleanup that still has to be done in those disaster zones. Of course, we haven't been talking about it and and things like that, but they still are suffering out there.
We also took care of our farmers, many of whom were on the brink of collapse because of Bidenomics, frankly, because the inflationary cost of their inputs and the inability they have right now to get loans from the banks and the lenders to put their crops in the ground, to put the seeds in the ground in the spring. So we had to take care of that, and we did. We are excited about.
That's good too. We need our food. Sorry, people, but we need our food. I'm with that. Listen, look, it is what it is. We got to get food in the ground. We got to get seeds in the ground to get food. Period.
This outcome tonight, we're grateful that everyone stood together to do the right thing. And having gotten this done now as the last order of business for the year, we are set up for a big and important new start in January. We can't wait to get to that point. We encourage swift passage in the Senate now. They need to do their job as the House just did. We will all go home. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year, because I hope not to see you until we get back after that.
He's like, I hope not to see y'all no more till we get back next year. Listen, look, this is wild right here. Man, come on now. You know, we already know these people are always on vacation.
So I was in constant contact with President Trump throughout this process, spoke with him most recently about 45 minutes ago. He knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he certainly is happy about this outcome as well. Elon Musk and I talked within about an hour ago, and we talked about the extraordinary challenges of this job. And I said, hey, you want to be Speaker of the House? I don't know. He said, this may be the hardest job in the world. I think it is. But we're going to get through this. We are going to unify this country, and we are going to bring the America First agenda to the people beginning in January. We cannot.
All right. So, you know what I'm saying? This is where we're at right now. And the thing of this is, well, to me, it's a few important things in there. Definitely with the food and, you know, other things like, yes, it is what it is, people. All right, let's keep going. Let's check this one out.
The bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
With that strike of the gavel, U.S. government workers can head into the holidays secure. Their paychecks will keep coming for now.
This is a very important piece of legislation. It funds the government, of course, until March of 2025. That was a big priority for us.
It's a surprise victory for Speaker Mike Johnson, who's been walking on a tightrope all week after a funding bill he negotiated was attacked by Elon Musk with a threat to fund campaigns against lawmakers who supported it. Then another bill, heavily influenced by Musk and Donald Trump, failed to pass on Thursday. In it, a key demand from the president-elect to suspend the debt ceiling, which would have allowed him to more easily pass his tax cut agenda. Johnson removed that from the new bill, rallying Democrats and pushing away some Republicans.
I assume that many Republicans in the House voted against it tonight because it didn't include the greasing of the wheels in the way that Trump wanted to pass that tax cut next year for the very, very rich.
The revised bill is a pared-down version of the one that failed, focusing mostly on
they always trying to put in. They're not telling us the real reason of the tax cut situations. If we want these corporations to bring the jobs here and things like that, we have to give these corporations tax cuts because the other countries are. And this is just the facts. The other countries are giving these corporations huge tax cuts and things like that to bring the jobs and all that type of stuff over there and things like that. And we you know, it's nowhere around this. It's nowhere around this. And I don't see how people don't understand this. They just hear, oh, we're just going to give rich people tax cuts because that's the only way they're presenting it. They're not actually strategically breaking it down to you, let you know the reason why we have to give these corporations certain tax cuts to bring the jobs and stuff like that over here. You know, because over here we have a lot of things that, you know, corporations are going to have to provide us as workers and things like that, insurance, all types of things like that. The money adds up, and corporations are not going to, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to lose out on money, period. That's just how a corporation is. Like, they're not finna lose out on money like that. So they need some type of incentive in order to come here and stabilize themselves here and plant themselves here like seeds in the ground to make sure that they provide jobs for us and things like that. Healthcare insurance, everything that we want as Americans that we've put in place as the technically a first world country, if you want to put it that way. So yes, we have to give these huge corporations tax cuts, but they're not explaining it to you that way. They're just giving you the face where he just want to give rich people tax cuts. What the fuck is that? No, That's not it. The corporations need that in order to incentivize them to come over here and stay here and give us the money and keep the money flowing throughout America.
Disaster relief and aid for farmers.
This was a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingerprints on the final decisions on spending for 2025.
Musk, whose new role is to cut government waste, reacted positively on his platform X. The speaker did a good job here given the circumstances, he wrote. It went from a bill that weighed pounds to a bill that weighed ounces. From the Democrats, a signal to challenge the incoming Trump administration on programs like cancer research funding that got cut out of the bill.
There are still things to be worked on, and we look forward to that fight in the new year. Happy holidays.
You know, what was pretty obvious in the voting is that this was not something lawmakers on either side wanted hanging over government workers this holiday season. The bill passed with an overwhelming majority, well beyond the 2/3 vote needed.
And Chris, there was a clear show of influence here, right, from Elon Musk. Tell us about that.
Asha, that was unmistakable. When Trump torpedoed that bipartisan bill with a list of demands, Elon Musk was right there posting on X about why the bill should be killed. When it passed, he was first to react. And last night, a Republican senator was on a late night show suggesting Musk should replace Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. So what's becoming obvious here is just how powerful and influential Musk is. And Trump hasn't even officially moved back into the White House.
And, I've seen things on X and everything, what I'm saying, recently here, they're calling Elon, the president, and they're calling Trump the vice president. And it's crazy. These people are getting wild out here with the stupidity. It's wide open. So, all right, we're going to go to the Black conservative perspective. And he has something to say right here at the tail. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Shout out to him. Let's go.
Was up on Capitol Hill. Manu, update our viewers on the very latest.
Yeah, this is on the verge of passing, Wolf, averting a scare at the last minute. A government shutdown just on the horizon in a matter of hours. But now the House is poised to pass this bill well over the threshold, the 2/3 majority needed to pass this bill that would keep the government open up until mid-March. Right now, it's a 366 to 34 vote. That's well over the 290 votes that would be needed, assuming all members are here and present. So that, and right now, it looks like it's broken down. A lot of Republicans in favor of it. Well, 170 Republicans voting in the affirmative, just 34 voting against it. And the Democrats, more Democrats have supported this. In fact, 196 Democrats. There's not a single Democratic no vote. Now, this came all after a scare over the last several days, and then the aftermath of Donald Trump intervening late and scuttling a separate bipartisan deal that had been reached. It appeared to be on a glide path to becoming law. Trump demanding major changes, including an increase of the national debt limit, something he wanted off the table. So we have to deal with it in the next Congress. That is a perennially difficult issue for Congress to deal with. He didn't want to have to handle it. He said, deal with it now. But Congress had a very difficult time in responding to that demand. In fact, one of a proposal backed by him yesterday failed. That went down with the opposition of 38 Republicans and Democrats because of that demand of Donald Trump's to include a national debt limit increase. So today, all day long, they've been negotiating behind closed doors, trying to figure out how to placate Donald Trump's concerns and win over Democrats as well. And it looks like, Wolf, the gavel just came down and that this bill has, in fact, passed the House of Representatives. It will go over now to the Senate, and that's where they'll act on this later tonight, Wolf. And so at the moment, this bill, which includes an extension of government funding up until mid-March, also aid to farmers, about $10 billion for farmers hit hard by difficult conditions around the country, and $100 billion or so for communities ravaged by natural disasters, all part of this bill. But that issue of the national debt limit was taken out of this bill and sent.
They should have been done that. You know what I'm saying? Definitely with the natural disaster situation. Because that was crazy. And then you had FEMA out there talking about they didn't have any money for the natural disasters that was going on, which FEMA is supposed to have money for that.
to deal with in the next Congress, putting that on Donald Trump's plate and really defying Donald Trump's public demands over that issue over the last several days. But see, Trump simply did not have the votes. The final vote, Wolf, was 366 to 34, passing this bill out of the House of Representatives just moments ago. 34 Republicans voted against it and 1 Democrat voted present. The rest of the Democrats voted for it. So an overwhelming vote in the House of Representatives just hours before the shutdown deadline, and now on to the Senate, which will expect it to give overwhelming passage later tonight, Wolf.
So you've seen that, you heard that. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, is this good or bad, right? Is this a W? Is this an L? What's going on here? Well, I'll tell you guys what I think. I don't think it's a W, and I don't think it's an L. Why do I say that? Well, one is because I think that trimming this bill down from 1,000+ pages of pork to 118 pages of acceptable pork that should have been voted on individually, I think is a small W, right? It's not a big W, but it's a small W, okay? They took out a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff, and they kept the stuff in there that, quite honestly, again, they should have passed a long time ago, but they again, do this because they love putting on this show, okay, before government shutdown. Like, for example, when it comes to the disaster relief for hurricane victims, should have been passed a long time ago. Should have been passed a long time ago. When it comes to the aid for farmers, should have been passed a long time ago. Most importantly, these things should have been voted on as individual budget items. But instead, they got stuffed into this more slimmed down version of the continuing resolution. Now, I think that this is an L in the sense that, one, again, these things weren't voted on individually, first and foremost. But also on top of that, Trump wanted to increase the debt limit for 2 years. Now, some people may find that to be controversial, that Trump was asking for the debt limit to be increased. But the reason why he was doing that is because he did not want to have to deal with this whole debt limit issue that comes up every single year, in which the politicians always raise the debt limit. He wanted to go ahead and get it out of the way now, so that he could pass his agenda in the beginning of next year without having to worry about the whole debt limit issue, right? Because the debt limit issue will be hung over his head, okay, and it will be used against him. The government is only going to be funded until March, okay, and they'll be having this battle next year, right? We'll be doing the exact same thing in 3 or 4 months, talking about this once again. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of an L for Trump in the sense that he didn't get everything that he wanted. But at the same time, a lot of the pork of this bill got eliminated via this process, right? Elon Musk and President Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy all coming out against this basically resulted in at least a small W, right? Overall, even though they didn't get everything that they wanted, okay? And I know that the American people didn't get everything they wanted because in the ideal world, we would actually have a balanced budget, that we would not be continuing the spending of the Biden administration. But hey, Mike Johnson is the Speaker of the House. The Republicans have a very slim control of the House. They do not have control of the Senate, and they do not have control of the White House. I personally would have just let the shutdown happen and blame the Democrats and said, listen, we got to do it the right way. If you don't want to do it the right way, then you are responsible for the government shutting down. If you want to keep the government open, then we have to vote on each individual thing by itself, right? And if you got to stay a few days extra in order to get that done, who cares?
They weren't finna do that. They wasn't finna do that. They was not finna stay a few extra days to get none of that shit done, especially breaking all those bills down individually. With the healthcare, all the type of stuff, they was not finna do that. They too busy trying to get to them yachts and whatever else they trying to get to out there. You know what I'm saying? You know, trying to go have their fun. You know, I mean, it is what it is at this point. I know that. Listen, look, I know for a fact they was not finna. That's the reason why they tried to lump all that shit in at one time, you know, and stall it out and things like that. Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. All things that should have been, you know, already either voted on or, you know, just set to the side, period. It's crazy to me, but that's what it is, though, you know, and tried to stall the whole situation out. But I'm grateful that for the farming situation and also the situation that they get the funding for the relief for the victims of those tragic situations of nature, that just happened recently.
Right. I'm so sick and tired of these politicians who are always on vacation, by the way. I mean, they was on a long vacation back in August, right? Back in August on a long vacation.
Yep.
These politicians think their vacations are more important than doing their damn jobs, right? This is what they believe. These people take so many vacations throughout the year, and then they turn around and they do stuff at the last minute. And it's like, well, why are you vacationing so long earlier this year if you knew that you had to work on the budget? You knew you had to work on funding the government for next year. Why'd you wait till the last minute? This type of stuff pisses people off. It's because they want to do things in the least transparent way possible. That's how these politicians work. They play games with the lives of the American people. So with that being said, Elon Musk, he is happy about this because, hey, it's better than the original proposal, right? But obviously we didn't get everything that we wanted. However, it is a step in the right direction. Okay, it's a step in the right direction. And hopefully we can continue to flex our power as the people going into next year. I believe the Democrats folded because they did not want to be blamed for a government shutdown. This was essentially a package they could not say no to. If they would have said no to this, they definitely would have took the blame for the shutdown, right? Especially considering how the American people saw all the pork that they wanted to spend money on, right? Like, you're not going to win that battle, right? If somebody's saying, no, we should not be spending money on unnecessary stuff, and you insist that we do so, or you want to shut down the government, that's not an argument that the Democrats are going to win. And they knew this. This is why they end up voting for it, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, everybody didn't get what they wanted, right? But it is better than we were just a couple days ago. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
All right. So you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Black conservative perspective. But see, this is the thing right here. And just like right here at the moment. Hold on. Where am I at? Right here. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, we got a few more things to do. We got more stuff to do and trying to get these policies and stuff like that in the building. Listen, look, excuse me. Yeah, this is the deal here. And I get it, but see, though, they piled all this stuff on at the last minute. Just like the Black conservative was saying, they vacationed all year. They did all this other crazy stuff. They didn't try to actually work and do their damn jobs throughout the damn year. Now at the last minute, you know what I'm saying, they're coming in with this crap, especially after the loss of the Democratic Party, because they really wasn't expecting for the Democratic Party to really lose low key. They was not. So they thought they had time. They were just, relaxing, chilling out, thinking about the Mai Tais that they were going to drink on their fucking vacations and all this other type of stuff, or whatever they, say whatever else they were going to do on vacation and things like that. But, yeah, it is what it is out here, man. This is crazy, but it's the reality of the situation of where we're at with our government and our situation about, the bills that need to be passed and the bills that they just try to actually pile on at the last minute. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say, that, my friends, is the bottom line.